So we're going to start off with line 13, but of course, before we go to line 13, we have to talk about line 12, only because we're starting with an article. And an article in Greek, in Homeric Greek, will take the place of a pronoun. So in Attic Greek, we would call this word to, we would call this autu instead. But we've got a genitive there. So it's his. And his what? What are we talking about? It's to his home. So there's the prepositional phrase, right? His to the home. So to the home of him, or to his home. Ebe went the Thea, right? Went the goddess. And so this is the main verb, and here's your subject. And so now we're talking about whose home are we referring to? It has to be some noun in the same gender and number. And you'll notice there, it doesn't have to be in the same case. So Alkinoos ruled at that time, knowing the plans from the gods. Oh, that beep just came. I should have waited for the beep to come. It would have sounded like it was censoring my speech. And on the one hand, the goddess, right, came to the house of him. And now we learn who this goddess actually was, Glaukopis Athene. Glaukopis is one of her epithets, comes up all the time. So she's always described as this bright-eyed or gleaming-eyed goddess. Our word glaucoma comes from there. And what was she doing? Metiosa. She was knowing or planning the noston. This word comes up also a lot in the Odyssey, remember. Nostos is the homecoming. She was plotting the nostos for Odysseus. There's your dative. Pink is dative. And he's described as megaletori, which is great-hearted Odysseus. And the trick to these datives is that they end in this iota, and that makes them third declension. So what did she do then? She went, and if you remember last time we met, we talked about this form emen as being an infinitive form. So this is a new kind of infinitive form that we have, this Homeric infinitive. So it literally says, she went to go. And you can take this any way you want. Some people take it as almost like a purpose clause, right? She went to go. And here's the entry in the notes, right? She set out to go. You could also get away with she went going forth. And where is she going to? As Thalamon poludai dalon. So she went forth to the bed chamber, and that is described as richly wrought. Well, you can try to figure out what that means on your own. Just don't say that to anybody on the T. The next part is any, and this is our preposition en that you learned as in. It just has this iota to make it sound fun, any. And the object of this preposition is this pronoun here, hoi. So she went forth to go to the richly wrought bed chamber, in which. So that's a relative pronoun. And of course, I would ask you, which noun does hoi refer to? and that would have to be the bedchamber. So she went forth to go to the richly wrought bedchamber, in which kure, subject, in which the young girl, a kure, is a young unmarried girl. And what was she doing in there? She was asleep. Koimata, there's an omicron missing. Koimata, and it's right here in the vocab list, like koimao, in the middle voice, to go asleep. She was asleep, and she was homoye, right? That's where we get our word homogeneous. She was like or similar or resembling, and in Greek, when you resemble something in the dative case. So I like to say similar to the immortals, and then you get what's called accusative of respect, with respect to her very nature and her appearance. I want to point one thing out too about this ending. Athanatesi is dative, plural, and it's feminine. And the reason it's feminine is because we're comparing a girl to the immortals. So you don't want to compare this maiden to the immortal gods. That would be kind of strange, right? So, and who is this girl that's asleep there? It's Nausicaa. She is the daughter of Alkinoos, who's here, genitive ending, oya. And he's described as megale toros, just like Odysseus was a few lines above, right there in line 14. So I guess it's nice to be great-hearted in Homeric society. Para, and this one is tough because it looks like a preposition that we made you memorize some time ago, para, but in this instance, it's behaving like an adverb would, right? So next to her, there were, as it says down here in the commentary, were at hand. Para, add the imperfect of Amy. So next to her, there were duo, two amphipoloi, handmaidens. And what were they doing? Ekusai, that's from echo. And finally, you get to see a feminine ending on a participle. So usai, remember on, usa, on. So two handmaidens having kalos, having beauty. So red is accusative. Chariton apa, from the gods, right there. And what were these guys doing? These two guys, these two handmaidens. What were they doing? They were standing by Hekaterthe Stathmoin. All right, so Stathmoin is the dual of the two doorposts. So that's blue. And Hekaterthe is just on each side. Hekaterthe, there it is, on either side. So basically standing on either side of the door, they were. And let's learn a little more about these, right? The thurai, right? These are the doors. Get these in here. The doors, all right? Ep kain ta, which is right here, epikemai. The doors were closed. And what are they described as? They're fa'enai, from fa'enos. They're shining, beaming, or radiant. So that takes us down to line 19. Let me stop the recording right here.